Good morning and good afternoon, boss ladies. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's been another awesome week and hope it's been the same for all of you. Welcome to Creating New Opportunities. I'm your host, Bill Haga, VP of Sales with the Federal Savings Bank. I'm able to service all 50 states again, which is amazing and huge. And while doing that, I'm also offering a slew of programs. I mean, we've got a plethora of them. Okay. I mentioned over the last couple weeks that we had a new opportunity here at the Federal Savings Bank. And unfortunately, we had some mishaps with scheduling. But yes, it is true. We are currently hiring an unlimited amount of real estate brokers and real estate agents who are interested in working on both sides of the transaction and getting a commission from both sides of the transaction. The best thing about it is you don't have to be licensed. There's about 6 verification clicks that you have to do on a phone app for compliance. The phone app keeps everything within compliance, and that right there will earn you a W-2 based off those commissions. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, we have to move the meeting back. We had to reschedule the meeting for Friday, August 7th. Greg Warham, our regional senior vice president, will be joining me on that Friday, the August 7th, to explain the program, answer all your questions, and explain the next steps. I mean, it's really about that easy to join the Federal Savings Bank team. Still amazed by the opportunity. So today's agenda: market and rates, wins from the week. Today's new construction program is our conventional renovation program, which is pretty good stuff. And then next week, we'll go over our jumbo renovation program. And then finally, the following week, Friday, August 7th, we will be I'll have my special guest, Greg Warham, here with me, and we'll be discussing the dual employee banker role. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and dive into things. So, market and rates. So, long-term interest rates and bond yields rose this week, driven by oil prices topping, here we are, over $100 a barrel again, right? We've seen this before. And inflation worries tied to the conflict with Iran. Key movements include the 10-year Treasury. This is really what interest rates will adjust off of. They hit 4.7, and that the 30-year mortgage rate climbed to a 6.58%. Bond yields and mortgages, so the 10-year Treasury rose to 4.7, marking its highest level of President Trump's second term. 30-year fixed mortgage also climbed, according to Freddie Mac, an average of 6.58, up from 6.55 the previous week, reaching its highest point in nearly a year. 15-year fixed mortgage increased an average of 5.96%. That's also up from 5.93% the week before. The Federal Reserve is meeting this next week. It's scheduled for July 28th through the 29th, with the interest rate decision will be announced on July 29th at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. The benchmark rate right now, their short-term rate remains steady between 3.5 and 3.75% ahead of its upcoming policy meeting. The analysts' outlook economics are pretty much expecting the central bank hold the rates unchanged for the 5th consecutive meeting, basically because, once again, the rising energy and inflation risk have stoked these fears into potential future hikes still later this year. All right, so some quick wins for the week. like I mentioned, we are hiring real estate agents and we are hiring real estate brokers. So this week we were able to hire 2 real estate brokers. Thank you very much for coming on board. And they have started the process of coming on board. And we also added another 5 more real estate agents to our list. So welcome aboard to you, agents, as well. Look forward to working with everybody. So once you come on board, the next thing is my team jumps in. We get you all co-branded up, right? So like I mentioned before, we've got a co-branded program flyer platform called Total Expert. It's one of the best out there. It's pretty awesome. I found out that, I mean, mind you, I've been here less than 100 days, but I found out a couple things hadn't been connected. So I should be able to do some co-branded marketing flyers that now have some pricing and for different programs on there. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So also getting them hooked up on that, but also with List Reports. Remember, List Reports is the open house co-branded platform that I provide all my agents. So about every need that you have as a real estate agent, I think that we're satisfying. Okay. So with List Reports, you get daily sociables, right? So you can share things on your social media. There's always something out there for you to post. Okay. So you don't have to sit there and go, well, what am I going to make my social media post today? You don't have to do that. Okay. I even think that you can even schedule them out ahead of time. Okay. But that program's pretty awesome when it comes to open house materials, right? So you can create your own sign writer. So then at that point in time, they can text that information to a number, and then that house information will pull up on their phone. Another cool thing about List Reports is that it has even an open house flyer that have everyone sign in, but there's a barcode that they can scan. Once again, capturing that home information. But what's cool is if they share that with a friend or a family member, you also capture those phone numbers. Okay, those now become leads. Those show up as leads over on the left part of the dashboard. So it's easy to follow all your information. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes for after you enter the address and a link to the site that you're using to promote the open house. It's going to pull all that information up or into it from that listing. So all the photos, everything will be there. You can select, you can change the color code on it so it matches, your company logos and colors. I mean, it does everything. So it's pretty impressive. And then, like I mentioned, Total Expert with our flyer programs, right? So flyer programs are meant to help us promote that particular program, right? It's another reason to have something in your hand to be able to drop off somewhere. Like, for our medical program, it's 100% zero down for doctors. That's a great thing to take to a hospital and drop off and have it at the cafeteria or pin it up somewhere, right? So these are things that you can use to get out of the house and market. One of the things I found out that you can also send yourself an email. Most of us have email on our phones. We can open up those attachments on our phone. And then at that point in time, you can shoot a screenshot and then you'll be able to share that on your Facebook page and other social media pages. Okay. All right. So enough of that for now. All right. Let's dive into our renovation construction program 2-time close. Remember, there's some 1-time closes where the construction and loan process and all that is all in one process. And then there's also a 2-time close where you've got the construction phase up front. Once it's completed, then it rolls to a fixed or adjustable rate, whatever you choose, and whatever loan program at that point in time. All right. but we'll get to some more of that here as we get through these notes. All right, so this allows a borrower to finance the renovation of a existing home. All right, this can be primary, this can be second, this can be an investment. This is for a fixed interest only for, during the renovation process. They give you up to 12 months for that. Once again, after that 12 months, this is going to turn into a balloon. So then it just rolls over into a refinance. And it's a pretty simple process. I mean, you don't even skip a beat. You don't even realize really what's happening. Okay. Let's talk about credit scores and how much you need down. So with a 680 and above, you need 10% down. With a 700 plus, you only need 5% down. Okay. It's always the end loan that's going to decide the construction piece. Okay. Because remember, once you get done with the construction piece, then you roll over to the next part, which is the final financing stage for the project. All right. So the qualifying loan to value would be based on the appraisal value in lieu of the total cost to build, only when the lot has been owned by the borrower for at least 1 day prior to construction loan closing, LTV exceeds the LTC, and all that by 10% or more, then at that point in time, the borrower needs to deposit 10% of that completed value into their federal savings bank value checking account to be held during the construction phase. If the borrower does not meet the criteria listed above, then the qualifying loan to value will be based on the lesser of the appraised value or the total cost to build. All right, total cost to build are all your hard costs, soft costs, land price, plus your closing cost. Okay, I've been asked that before. Note, there's no cash back to the borrower permitted at any construction loan phase. Renovation loan must be never exceed the loan to value per cost estimator. All right, once again, you can still go up to 30 acres. The end loan can be a conforming loan, can be an FHA, it can be a VA, but it has to be a VA primary only. And it can also be a super conforming, just depending on what the renovation and the property value are, right? Reserves. So in most cases, you need 6 months of interest-only reserves, and this is required for all construction loans. All right, let's talk about business funds, right? Because a lot of people are doing this with their LLC. So allowed with 2 months of bank statements. A CPA letter isn't required. That's always nice. For any liabilities, same thing applies. If they're below 10 payments or less, then we don't need to include those in the debt to income ratios. This is a 2-time close, and a new credit report will be pulled at the end. Okay. A lot of people ask why. Well, the reason why is because you just went through, 6-8 months of renovation stuff. We still need to make sure that you're paying your bills on time, right? We still have to be financially responsible. Okay. So any exceptions that we need to any of these things, we can always submit into our credit committee for any kind of reconsideration. No borrower debt can be paid off with renovation loan funds, right? These renovation loan funds go directly towards building the house. Therefore, any debt must be paid off or sourced prior to the renovation loan closing. Okay, so it doesn't have to be done prior, but it does have to be done before the closing. Second homes are allowed up to 80% loan to value. So with these, you've got to put at least 20% down, 2 months of reserves. Renovation loan must not exceed 80% per cost estimate. And here's one of the main factors too. I get asked this a lot as well. Borrowers want to do their own work, right? They're trying to save money. Under this program, the borrower cannot act as their own general contractor. Okay. We have a program like that, but this isn't one of them. Okay. If you have any questions regarding our new construction or renovation programs, please contact me directly by phone or email. And then let's talk about the weekend right quick. Just like any and every weekend, I will have my laptop on for all you weekend warriors out there who may need a pre-approval or a updated pre-approval letter, right? Maybe we need to go higher on our offer if we've got many offers already on the table. This weekend, pretty much working on a boat. Got to get it all cleaned up. Got a motor to fix, lower unit to replace the impeller and the plates and all that fun stuff. Hopefully it runs when I get done with it. I am not the most mechanical person in the world. I do probably more damage here sitting at a laptop than I can out there. But either way, I will be available for you. So I hope everyone has a great weekend and an even better Friday, since I love Fridays so much. But thank you. I appreciate everyone. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.